Now everybody, let me tell you a story about Hollywood shame, where terrible actors and scripts collide. Oh, what a mess it is on the other side. Saw the lights, camera, action begin, but all I got was a movie that plunged in a spin. From the first scene to the credits that roll, a Hollywood disaster, you've taken its toll. Silver Screen Cesspool, bad movies galore. Can't help but wonder what the hell were they making these for? Throw in some cliches, the sharp, the predictable plot. It's a train wreck, I tell you, it's all they ever got.
And now for our feature presentation.
Welcome to the Silver Screen Cesspool, where we review the pool. And now your host, the surveyor of cinema, the mocker of moronic movies, the terror of tiny town, the last known survivor of battlefield Earth, the one of many, Alan Smithee.
Detective Fox loves work and alcohol. Boring. After going to AA, his sponsor Chip becomes the main suspect in his investigation of a missing child. Well, this could be interesting. Fox also starts to believe that people are disappearing up Chip's butt. There it is! Butt Boy from 2019 is the kind of movie you watch, wondering what the hell I'm watching, and at the end, the best answer you can come up with is, I think that was a movie. The movie opens on the eve of Chip's first prostate exam. He clearly hates his job, and his wife is likely cheating on him, calling her lover on the landline in the kitchen. After the butt doc examines him, he tries to talk his wife into sticking her bad finger in his poop chute during lovemaking, and it's about as sexy as I made it out to be. Chip soon becomes obsessed with making things disappear in his back door. It starts innocently enough with the TV remote and immediately moves on to their dog, which I think is the very definition of, well, that escalated quickly. And then he moves on to a small child that they cross paths with at the park. This also explains why the movie is called Butt Boy, because a boy went missing in the dude's butt. Chip is played by Tyler Cornack, who also wrote, directed, and even recorded the score for this movie. Also, Chip Gutchell is the name of his real-life godfather. And I have to wonder what all this says about Mr. Cornack's real-life mental state. He's more obsessed with butts than Sir Mix-a-Lot, LL Cool J, and Tom Green combined. Early the next morning, Chip feels remorse for losing their remote, wakes up in tears, and tries to hang himself in the garage. Fast forward 10 or so years, we're then introduced to Detective Tyler Fox, who is attending his first AA meeting, where he's connected with his sponsor, Chip, who failed in his hanging attempt. Detective Fox is a stereotypical detective you see in movies attending AA. Leather coat, a sleeveless t-shirt, greasy hair, constantly smoking, still in love with his ex-wife, and he doesn't play by your stupid rules. Chip loses a game of sorry to his wife and kid, and then has a long internal moral debate about sticking a blue pawn from the game up his booty. The Perseverance Award disappears at work just before Bring Your Kid to Work Day. He then shoves one of his New Balance shoes into his black hole. Then a ladle, then a few more unidentifiable items. His kid gets bored at Bring Your Kid to Work Day and wanders off to play hide and seek with the other kids and his boss. Detective Fox gets pulled off his case to investigate a missing child. Turns out one of those kids at Chip's office hid a little too well and is now missing. Fox is interviewing everyone when he realizes his AA sponsor is now one of the suspects. He is the IT guy and the surveillance has mysteriously been erased. Plus, Fox is mad at Chip for not exactly fulfilling his sponsor duties. Fox follows Chip, who has an animal carrier. Chip abandons it and Fox finds it empty. This is when Fox puts together his theory and shares it with his chief. His theory is about a white married male who happens to be a father living in the suburbs, who also happens to be his AA sponsor, who has been secretly running around cramming objects, animals, and children up his asshole. And he does this in sprees, almost in a serial killer fashion. I'm not sure how he figured this all out with so little evidence, but he's not immediately committed to the insane asylum, so he's free to butt crack this case. Chip invites Detective Fox to his house for dinner and drama ensues. In fact, this movie works well as an intense crime drama anytime they step away from the butt stuff to let that happen. So it's like for 5 minutes of the total movie tops. The rest of the time, it's still not played as a comedy, but still as an intense crime drama. It just doesn't work. After dinner, Fox follows Chip to the old power plant, where, after a brief tussle, he's almost enveloped by a vortex emanating from Chip's bunghole. This incident leads to him losing his evidence, followed by his badge and sobriety. But like any good fictional cop, losing his badge doesn't deter him from pursuing this butt muncher. You see, it's the young Marty Goochill's birthday, and they've invited kids to play laser tag. Detective Fox is either determined to prevent another child from being sucked up Chip's butt, or doesn't understand that you're not supposed to bring real guns in laser tag. Fox finds himself on the losing end of this confrontation, however. Chip somehow spins this into a tale that makes him the hero. Our real hero, however, now finds himself inside Chip's butt, a set that looks a lot like a random cave from an alien planet on Star Trek The Next Generation, but a lot more fecal? Which is exactly how I always pictured the inside of my butthole. He quickly finds the missing child, the dog, and everything else Chip has put in his pooper. This brings up some rather interesting logistical questions like, what do they eat? The movie answers this question. I, however, will not. 1 month later, Chip is having a bad day. He's very sick and somehow poops out his dog. And I hope he poops out his dog is a sentence I never have to say again in any context. The remaining residents of Chip's bowels are scheming to make their escape. Chip is accepting his award from the city on stage with the mayor and chief of police when Fox decides it's time to escape and lights his Zippo. Chip explodes, his entire body, not just his over all the dignitaries and spectators alike. But he saved the kid. The end. Now, if you haven't guessed already, I am going to say this movie is as opposed to being the shit.
I wonder what's inside your butthole. I wonder what's inside your butthole. Maybe there's astronauts and maybe there's aliens all inside your butthole.
Butt Boy is available streaming on Freevee.
What's inside your butthole? I always want to know what's inside your butt.
Silver Screen Cesspool is written, directed, and starring Alan Smithee. Assistant director, producer, and stunt coordinator, Alan Smithee. Boom mic operator, sound editing, and music by Alan Smithee. Construction coordinator, The Amazing Rando. Makeup by Crayola. Catering was provided by the Soylent Corporation. Alan Smithee will be back in Return of the Curse of the Planet of the Prehistoric Bikini Ninjas versus Kingdom of the Bride of the Killer, Shark Cheerleaders 2, Electric Boogaloo.